Hey bestie, welcome back! Today I'm going to show you the basic crochet stitches that form the foundation for almost every project. Before we start, let's make the very first thing you need, a slip knot. Fold the yarn in half near the yarn end. Insert your thumb and index finger into that loop, twist the two ends with your left hand so they cross over each other, then reach in and grab the longer strand of yarn, pulling it through the loop. This makes an adjustable knot that you can tighten or loosen. Now you can place the hook into that loop. Next, let's talk about how I like to hold my yarn. I place the yarn end between my pinky and ring finger. This way the yarn can move smoothly when I need it, but it still stays controlled. Then I run the yarn over my index finger. That's the only purpose of my index finger, to guide the yarn. My thumb and the rest of my fingers on my left hand hold onto the project itself, keeping it firm so my hook can easily catch the yarn. My right hand is only for moving the hook. All the yarn control happens with my other hand. Once you've got all this, we can start making chains, the foundation for almost every crochet project. I'm going to make 12 chains here. To make a chain, yarn over your hook and pull through the loop on your hook. That's one chain. Keep repeating until you have the number you need. Chains are the starting point for most crochet pieces. They give you the base to build on. Now in the first row, I'm going to work into the top loop of each chain. But we skip the very first chain because that chain acts as our turning chain and gives the row its height. So insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both loops. That's a single crochet. Do this all the way across, making 1 single crochet in every single chain by inserting your hook, pulling up a loop, and then pulling through both of these loops. You will have 11 single crochets at the end of the row since we had 12 chains, but we skipped the very first one. And there you go, your very first row of single crochet. If you look closely, you will see 2 vertical strands making up the body of each stitch. And on top, there's that little V shape made of 2 strands. That's how you can identify your stitches later and even count backwards to check how many you've made. For the next row, first we need to turn our work. You will do this at the start of every row so you can work back along the stitches you just made. Before we start, chain 1. And just like before, that chain acts as our turning chain. In this row, I'll show you how to make a half double crochet. Yarn over first, then insert your hook into the stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, so you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all of these loops. And this is a half double crochet. When you insert your hook, make sure to go under both loops at the top of the stitch, the front loop and the back loop. This is the standard way to work stitches unless a pattern tells you otherwise. So you yarn over first, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops. Repeat this all across the row so you can practice making half double crochets. After finishing, you can see that this row is a bit taller than a single crochet row, since we did add that yarn over before starting our stitch. In the next row, we will learn how to make a double crochet. So chain 1 and turn your work. And normally you would chain 2 or 3 to get the height and then skip the first stitch. But I prefer using a technique called stacked single crochet. Instead of chaining 2, I make 1 single crochet with 1 chain and then make another single crochet into the vertical bar of that stitch. This replaces the turning chain and avoids gaps. So this is considered our first double crochet, but for the rest of the stitches we'll make simple double crochets. And to make that, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And repeat this all across the row, always pulling through 2 loops at a time. Double crochet stitches are taller than single or half double crochet, which makes your work build up faster. They also create a more open, airy fabric, so they are great for shawls, lacy scarves, or any project where you want some drape. Because they're taller, you will notice bigger gaps between the stitches compared to shorter stitches. Now that we have a row of double crochets, you can see that the first stacked single crochet looks almost the same as the rest of the row. And for the next row, we can go even taller and learn how to make treble crochets. We start the same way as before. We don't want that loose, gappy starting chain, so instead of chaining 3, we are just going to chain 1 and build the height with stacked single crochets. But this time we are stacking 3 single crochets right on top of each other. Always work the next single crochet in the vertical strand of the previous one. That gives us the height we need for a treble stitch and keeps the edge looking neat. And now for the stitch itself, we are going to yarn over twice, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2 again. Always pulling through 2 at a time. So after pulling up a loop, we have 4 loops on the hook, and then we yarn over and pull through 2 3 times. Treble crochet makes your fabric grow very quickly because of its height. It creates long open stitches with plenty of space between them, which makes the fabric lighter and more flexible. This is perfect for airy summer garments, edges, or anywhere you want a lacy effect without complicated stitch patterns. You will also notice that because these stitches are so tall, the gaps between them are more pronounced. For the final row, we will do slip stitches. So first, turn your work and chain 1, just like at the start of every row. Then insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull the yarn straight through the stitch and the loop on your hook in one motion. There's no extra step here, you're not pulling through 2 loops like with other stitches. So you just insert your hook and pull the yarn through the stitch and the loop on the hook as well. Slip stitches are the shortest crochet stitch, and they don't add height to your work. Instead, they are mainly used for joining the end of a round, moving your yarn to a different position without adding stitches, or creating a neat flat edge. And that's it. These were the 6 most basic crochet stitches: the chain, single crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet, and the slip stitch. Once you're comfortable with these, you'll be able to follow most beginner patterns and build a solid foundation for learning more advanced stitches. Finally, let's make a magic ring, the perfect way to start projects worked in the round, like hats, amigurumi, or granny squares. This technique lets you create a tight, closed center, which is perfect for circular projects. For example, granny squares usually start with double crochets worked into the magic ring. Let's take it slow and go through the magic ring step by step. Place the yarn tail in your palm. Wrap the yarn around 3 of your fingers, form an X shape, and hold the yarn end down with your pinky finger. Insert your hook under the first yarn strand, grab the second strand with your hook, and then pull up a loop from underneath it. Grab the yarn again, pull up a loop again, and that's how you secure the magic ring. And that's it, your magic ring is ready. Now you can start your first round, and as always, here as well we have to chain 1 first. For the first round, after a magic ring, we always work the stitches directly into the magic ring. Instead of starting with chains or working in rows, here we are working stitches right into the center of the ring, which creates a round. Here I'm making a few double crochets inside the magic ring, just so I can show you at the end of the round how to close the circle. Once you've made the number of stitches you need, pull the tail tightly to close the ring. Finish the round by joining with a slip stitch into the first stitch. And there you have it, a neat closed center with your first round already finished.